we're going to head into the world of pop culture. And is he a stud? He wish. Let's get some pop culture from my man Fish.
There you go.
All right. I don't know if you guys saw that. We got 10 minutes on this first scene.
All right.
Go ahead, Fish.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, just kind of on the same note, if you're a Kenmore graduate of the 1980s in Northeast Ohio, you know the K&K market over in Kenmore. And you probably know Samir, who
everybody knows Samir.
His ID was, if you were,
are you old enough? Yeah. Okay.
Give you a look, and it's like, he's cool. He's good. He's cool. He's cool. Samir, contributing to a lot of problems back then.
What was that beer we used to buy from Samir? Anybody remember?
Mickey's Mean Green over there. I used to get that.
No, it was something else we used to get. It was so cheap, like
Little
red,
Kings?
white, blue. I can't remember. But it was like $3 for like a 24-pack or something ridiculous.
Brother.
Okay.
Well, we got about 10 minutes. I'll give you one story. Then if we want to come back for more, we'll do it here. So this was a sad story here. So recently, Jack Hanna, the family of Jack Hanna, came out and said that the poor man, he is suffering from Alzheimer's, and he just can't be in the public eye any longer. So Jack Hanna is the director of the Columbus Zoo, or was the director of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium in Columbus, Ohio, where we are from. If you still don't know the name, if you watched David Letterman in the 1980s and 90s, and heck, if you watched David Letterman at all from the 80s forward, Jack Hanna made, I should look this up, but he made several appearances in our time in bringing on exotic animals to that show, and he was always such a great guest, very informative, very funny, just Letterman had him on all the time. It seemed like almost weekly he had Jack Hanna on there. If he needed a spot, Jack Hanna got out there to New York and brought some interesting animals. So just made me sad because, I watched Letterman constantly, especially in the 80s. Always look forward to his appearances. So, bless you, Jack Hanna. We wish you the very best, you and your family, going through this difficult time. So that's what I got. Any memories of Jack Hanna, guys, growing up watching him on Letterman or whatever?
Absolutely. Fish, I was going to say Jack Hanna is certainly a Gen X figure. He actually spanned a few generations.
Yes.
And before there was the Crocodile Hunter and Steve Irwin, we had Jack Hanna growing up. And, I grew up watching late night television. I was a Carson Letterman guy. And he was just always a figure around, The animals were incredible. So it's going to be sad. All diseases are ugly, but Alzheimer's is a real ugly one. It's a hurtful one, very hurtful one, to look at your loved one and they don't have a clue who you are. So our prayers out to them.
Yeah, I'm Jack Hanna, because I go to Columbus Zoo. At least I try to, at least every other year. It's such a great zoo. A few of those that are not familiar with Ohio, it's about 2-hour drive from where we live here in Northeast Ohio to get to Central Ohio, Columbus, which is the capital of Ohio. And the zoo is just north of downtown. Jack Hanna had numerous appearances, like you said, on Letterman. I remember he would purposely bring the snakes and crocodile or the lizards because David Letterman had a phobia against them, and he used to just make Dave go crazy on stage. I remember laughing my tail off at that. But Jack Hanna also had a television show. I don't know if it was on PBS or I don't remember what channel that was, but on Saturdays he had a show that he would talk, and it was a learning experience for most people. He would explain animals and how, it was more of an educational show. But yeah, like you said, prayers to his family, to him. Loved him as a kid growing up. Like I said, he was our Steve Irwin, the millennials and kids nowadays remember Steve Irwin more than they would Jack Hanna. But it is a shame that disease, boy, I tell you what, I've been around it. Yeah. It is one of the ugliest diseases that somebody can have.
It really is.
Just
a quick correction there. Millennials actually have Steve Irwin's children.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
because he's
that's
been
right.
dead long enough. So we got a little bit of Steve Irwin as well growing up.
Wednesday. You know, every time our next guest is in this studio, all of our lives are in serious danger. A big mess is left behind, and once again, I'm forced to hold strange creatures. Oh my God! Jeez. Is it all right? There's some kind of growling noise.
Holy cow.
Jack, are you all right?
Don't put him down.
Oh, well, see, I don't know. Can you hear that? No, Jack, don't. Jeez. Put him down.
Give Dave that one. Give Dave that one.
No, I don't want that one. Why don't you come right over here? What is the animal and why is he making that noise?
Oh, it's a little light, but he wanted his bottle, and I didn't want to give him his bottle yet.
Yeah. Oh, these are beauties.
You remember the white tiger we had a couple of years ago, and I
right.
wanted just to show you a third one born at the zoo.
How old is that one?
About 12 weeks.
Now that's not a white tiger, though, is it?
That's an orange tiger. See, this...
How many colors do they come in, Jack?
Well, just basically orange and white, but the mother had 2 orange and 1 white, and this was named Kiaja, in Knoxville, Tennessee Zoo named it, and we brought him over today to show people because there's only about 90 white tigers in the world.
What are they drinking here?
This is Espalac milk. It's like mother's milk.
And then eventually they'll go on to what kind of food?
A lot of meat, about 12 pounds a day.
It's amazing, these animals, when you touch them, they're so strong you can feel right through their skin.
Oh yeah, a lot
muscles.
of people think they can be pets or
Oh
something.
no, right? That's not a good idea.
Can you hear him sucking? Here.
Yeah, but I heard him growling earlier, and it sounded.
What else you got there, Fish? You don't remember Jack Hanna, do you?
Go ahead.
No,
I didn't think so.
no idea.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Fish.
Okay. Right. Well. All right.
Wow.
Okay. So Kid Cudi, who is a rap artist, appeared on Saturday Night Live this past Saturday.
Yes.
And actually he's made some news here. Now, first of all, his performances were pretty good, but he made some extra news in paying tribute to a couple of well-known celebrities. So first of all, he came out in his first act. He was wearing a pretty cool Chris Farley t-shirt, who, if you're a remote fan of SNL, the 90s, you know who Chris Farley was, and he passed away too soon. And over the shirt, he was wearing like a pretty cool green sweater to pay tribute to Kurt Cobain, whose unfortunate anniversary of his death was recently as well, over the past week. And then in his second performance, he came out wearing a floral dress, and it was like, wow, what is he doing here? And I didn't realize this, but apparently Kurt Cobain also would appear frequently wearing a floral dress on stage. So he definitely paid a lot of tribute to Kurt Cobain on SNL this past week. So if you haven't seen it, obviously you can find it very easily on YouTube and otherwise, but pretty cool. Did you see it? What did you think? Were you a Nirvana fan? What do you guys think of that tribute?
You want to take a center?
Yeah, I'll real quick. I was not a big Nirvana fan. Couple songs I enjoyed. It took me years to realize that Dave Grohl was their drummer. I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan, but it took me probably 3, 4, 5 albums of Foo Fighters to realize that he was Kurt Cobain's drummer. And but Nirvana, yeah, go figure. But I was actually out in Seattle when Kurt Cobain passed away. And he meant a lot to that part of the country. He loved a lot. It meant a lot to that city. That whole, where Mike Jr. is now, that whole area is kind of like Northeast Ohio. Everybody looks out for each other for the most part. If you say you're from Akron, they don't know what Akron is, you say, oh, I'm just a little south of Cleveland. Don't know exactly where you're at on the map. That's kind of like with Tacoma, Kent, Seattle, and I think Aberdeen is where he was actually grew up, was in Aberdeen, which is a little bit south of where Mike currently is. And but that town went into a huge mourning, that whole area, when he passed away. So I didn't realize that it had just come up and passed, but I was a young kid in the military. This was even before. Do you remember what year it was that he passed? Was it
96 or 7? I thought.
No, it was earlier than that because I'm trying to think if Mike was even born at the time that happened. 93, 94, maybe 95 that happened. Anyways,
4.
94.
Yeah, that's
April
94.
5th,
Okay.
1994. He was, almost 27 years ago, almost exact to his tribute last Saturday.
Crazy what time it is. I'm maybe short, but kudos to what did you say the guy's name was?
Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi. Kudos to him for not only Chris Farley but Kurt Cobain doing those tributes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm about to tick a lot of people off here. Well, first off, Chris Farley, certainly one of my favorite comedians of all time. An amazing physical comedian, as well as his timing was impeccable. We talk about Gen X and millennials on this show. We don't talk much about baby boomers. Chris Farley was a baby boomer's
John Belushi.
Mm-hmm. He came along and kind of filled that role on SNL. And I just thought he was brilliant. Sad story. He had no self-esteem. He lived a very sad life, which is funny. Most comedians are very depressed and sad. I don't understand that. And when he overdosed, that really hurt me because I just love Chris Farley. Nirvana, that is just one band I could not and cannot stand for several reasons. And I don't want to cast any aspersions on Kurt Cobain and in the tragic way he left this place. But I just thought, first of all, the timing of the band was terrible. It killed our favorite genre and era of music, the salad days of heavy metal, when the women look like women and the men look like women, the good old days. And then all of a sudden, here comes all this grunge and dirty sweaters, and I don't wash my hair, and I'm so depressed, and life is so horrible. I just got tired of all that crap. Like, get over yourselves. Life is not that freaking bad, And so I just hated that whole genre of music. I hated the songs. I just don't get it. They act like he's the greatest thing to ever come out of Seattle. I'm sorry, Queensryche is. So that's how I feel about it. So.
Oh.
Junior, what do you think of Nirvana?
I actually love them. I don't know if I'm the black sheep here, but I absolutely love them. I played a bunch of their songs.
That's my role, but go ahead.
And so, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, no, I'm a huge fan, and I can attest to what my dad said as far as Kurt Cobain and his legacy around here. There's no doubt about that. There's a huge memorial. Actually, a buddy of mine just flew in from Los Angeles last weekend, and he went up and saw it. There's a bunch of stuff going on because it was the 27th anniversary, and he died at 27 years old. And
I was going to say he fell into that genre of rock stars that all died at 27. Tragically, right. Him, Jimi Hendrix, Amy Winehouse. List goes on and on and on and on. So.
Right.
Yeah, the drummer of Avenged Sevenfold is another one, but yeah.
Okay. I won't go too much into it, but I agree. That was the sentiment back in the time that Nirvana came in and killed hair metal and all that stuff. But you go back and listen to stuff in the 88, 89 range, it's like, maybe it was time to do something different in some respects. A lot of that was getting a little, I'm not sure. But that's for another, still my favorite music.
Fair
Anyhow,
point.
SNL is Ann Bates, Beatts. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name correctly, and sorry if not, but she was one of the original SNL writers. She passed away recently at age 74. She also was a creator behind a sitcom, Square Pegs, in the 80s.
Yeah.
I knew the name. I wasn't really a viewer of that particular sitcom, and just tons and tons of writing credits. So she was writing back in the original SNL cast. She helped create the characters, the nerds, and if you remember or not, with Bill Murray and Gilda Radner when they had the nerds with the glasses and all that stuff. So she was instrumental there. She wrote on Murphy Brown, and just tons of writing credit here. So SNL paid a little tribute to her this past week as well. So, a pioneer in comedy writing, and to boot, she, a female trying to make it in that business may have not been as easy, especially in the 70s. I don't know, but So
But
rest in peace.
I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back then, I don't know how much now, but back then on SNL, the 70s and the 80s, you thought that the people on the show were stars. They didn't make nowhere near the money, or were not the big hoo-ha on the show as the writers were, because they came up with the skits and the characters. And if you study the story of SNL, I mean, the people on the show were practically bribing the writers to write skits for them, especially if you wrote a couple of hot skits. You know, if you came up with some of the popular stuff, you know, they were like, write me something. You know, it's a very interesting story how they used to squabble backstage, and how the cast would buy gifts and try to get the writers to write them something. You know, it was all about the writers back then. So, you know, she came from a very, very lucrative job. As the 90s rolled on, some of the stars got so big that they were coming up with their own characters. I like Eddie Murphy, some, you know, doing their own stuff. And they became big movie stars. But it was all about the writers back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, very good. Okay. And just real quick, we lost an actor, James Hampton, passed away at age 84. He was in Teen Wolf and a few things. The one thing I remember him at, he was in the original Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds. He was I'm trying to think out of the character's name here, but he was like the coach, sort of he befriended Burt Reynolds in prison and all that stuff. And I don't know if you remember that movie or not, but anyway, he was in a lot of different stuff in the late
Longest
70s
Yard?
and 80s. Yeah, the original Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
Great movie.
anyway, rest in peace. And then
Yes.
last thing I got was if you haven't seen the teasers for the new Ghost. First of all, if you've seen the trailer for the new Ghostbusters movie, it's coming out later this year. Check that out. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, this looks terrific. It's bringing back the original cast members who are still with us, all of them, I believe, that are still around. And the premise is the family of Egon, I believe, his granddaughter or somebody. I think they resurrect the Ghostbusters. They bring back the Ecto-1 and all this stuff. And Paul Rudd's in it. And there's a clip of him being haunted by some mini Stay Puft marshmallow men in a grocery store. Very cool. So I'm sure later this year we're going to see all kinds of toys of the baby Stay Puft marshmallow men.
Cereal, whole 9 yards.
Oh, yeah. So look for that later this year.
So they got to bring back the originals. The ladies didn't get it done.
No.
You know, they gave it a good whirl, but it just didn't have the magic. Good people on the show, though, in that movie. Just didn't get it done. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Fish, with some pop culture. Ghostbusters, certainly part of our growing up. I remember playing the Ghostbusters theme by Axel F.
Yes.
In band, in competition.
Yep,
so that is and my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, at the moment right now, play bass guitar on the field during that performance. So those are my memories with Ghostbusters.
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick before you get into sports, did you guys see episode 4 with the Falcon and the one soldier?
Yeah, Fish, come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
Our weekly updates with that particular show.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, really getting really intense. And so it'll be interesting to see kind of where this goes from here. So yeah, John Walker is kind of getting unhinged.
Losing it.
Yeah, a lot of bad things happen. Yeah,
so spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear what happened, you haven't seen it yet, turn off your radio for the next 30 seconds. But just the emergence of the Wakanda Dora Milaje was just awesome.
Yes.
That fight scene, man. And I remember him saying, they're not even on the super soldier serum, just so you know how awesome they are. And those bald head chicks, I think they're hot. They laid it down, man. They laid it down.
Marcy kept asking me, she goes, are we supposed to not like Captain America now? Because I really don't like him. And she must have said that 3 or 4 times during this last episode, because she caught on like episode 2 that he's not who
No,
he needs
he's
to be.
a government Captain America. Nobody's
Yeah,
gonna like
so
him,
she's
man.
like, I don't like him. Am I ever gonna like him? You comic geek, tell me what the comics say. And I'm like,
Not as long as you're on the government payroll.
I said, you're gonna have to keep watching just like the rest of us.
Well, in the comics, they're sort of following the storyline a little bit because John Walker,
A little bit.
yeah, he did become unhinged in the comics, and he had to be taken down and all of that. So they're sort of following it. Clearly, they seem to be laying the groundwork for, the Falcon to assume the Captain America mantle, which I'm guessing will take you into upcoming movies with Sam as Captain America, as they also did in the comics. Actually,
Well, 2 episodes left, so they really gotta take off the last 2 episodes. But that was great, though. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, pop culture, real quick. New show. Have you guys seen The Nevers on HBO?
I saw that advertised. Actually, that just started this
man.
weekend, right?
Yeah, watch it, brother. Watch it.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
Like a steampunk era superhero show type thing.
Well, it's set like
right?
in your early 1700s in like England over there, and this thing is flying in the air and sprinkles these little light things everywhere, and it doesn't affect anybody except certain women. And 3 years later, the women that it affected develop these abilities, and all their abilities are different. Like one woman can stick her finger in dirt, plants grow. One girl, she's like a teenager, but she's like 20 feet tall. One woman could create, she can see the future 10 seconds ahead, which makes her an incredible fighter because she knows what she's going to do. And there's just 2 women who are the main characters. They live in this boarding house for women who have abilities. They're called the Touched. And their job is to keep the Touched safe because somebody's hunting them down. And it's just a fantastic show, man. It's a little bit of Avengers, a little bit of James Bond, a little bit of Wild Wild West. It's just really good.
Yeah, I heard another woman has the power to touch Keith's lower intestine.
I knew it.
Open.
I knew it.
Open it up like the.
See what I got put up with, Junior? Why are you laughing, Junior?
Jim Carrey did in the he parted the ways. Yeah,
that's real funny. That's real funny. Anyway, all right.
Open sesame. There you go.
Open sarsaparilla. Open Saskatchewan. Open septuagenarian. Open saddle soap. Open sesame.
We done?
No, probably not.
done.
But it's temporarily. Yeah, we're done.